Hello and hello and Allahu Akbar, the Baha'i greeting to all the people of the planet. My name is Abbas Tamori. Monday, 10:24 on the night. This is the subsequent video to the previous one about the legitimacy of the universal laws of justice. It happened that I saw an old friend today, and his consultation brought some ideas that I better talk about it. To begin with, it's very important, I think, for all of us to know that we're not here witch hunting and going after this guy or that guy. We don't know who is at fault. I don't think anybody is at fault here. Or if there is, God knows. Maybe I'm at fault because I wasn't talking about these things before. Who knows? We're people, we're not perfect, we're not infallible. Therefore, we cannot draw and bring any judgment. I'm sure the member of Universal Laws of Justice at the time in 1996, till right now, they're pretty good people and willing to serve the cause of God. And they do this according to their understanding. And that's all what we have. We have the book and our understanding. And it's, cliche to talk about this, but we just have different views. A rectangular shape could look like a line if you look at it in a different angle. Things can look very differently when, depending on how we are and what our software is and how we have arranged our understanding. I think the best is, in these cases, try to be in the shoe of other people. If as a result of this, we get to the point, okay, these people are at fault and that people are at fault, and God forbid, universal laws of the hands of the cause of God were incompetent in what they were asked to do, it's absolutely absurd. They were put in front of an impossible puzzle. Shoghi Effendi asked him to bring an international Baha'i court in Israel. It's not possible to do it. He asked them to bring 6 national Baha'i courts, like Sharia law court, but Baha'i Sharia, in 6 Muslim countries. How could this possibly be done? Suffice to say that in the 10 years plan, he never said that universal laws of justice has to be formulated. He just said a preliminary stage, which is the International Baha'i Court, to be formulated, which it couldn't be. So this is the problem. Whenever I talk about this kind of a subject, it's very hard. It's an awful topic for me to talk about it. I'd like to talk about something else. And it's like people are in 2 groups. Some people are pissed off at national assemblies or whatever somebody did to them, and they're trying to team up with me that I'm with them. And others who have, are staunch believers of universal laws of justice or the administration and whatnot, they think I'm a bigot, I'm getting money to do this thing, and I will not. None of it is real true, okay? I can't be with any sides. There is no sides. We're Baha'is, and we don't even have side to say others because they're not Baha'i, we are better than them. This is what is written in front of all of us. No one knows what his own end shall be. This is the word of Baha'u'llah. Based on that, scientifically, logically, how do I know where I stand? I often believe as an elder I've been punished to carry this mission. And if I can't do it right, I'll go to hell. It's all relative, to who we are. But it is important to mention that Shoghi Effendi in his writing several times, he talks about the unwisdom of the Baha'i friend, that they're not wise in offices. Their unwisdom hurts the cause of God. The unwisdom of enemies we know. We're thankful to that. But unwisdom of the Baha'i friends causes the problem. And it usually arises from the point that people, they feel that they have to protect the cause of God. And they don't understand. Protection of the cause of God comes from following the book. Tell the truth, whatever the consequences are. I'll give you one example right now. It's not a criticism, but it is just, I'll tell you. In the 10 years plan of Shogi Effendi, his direct quote that I read it last night, he says the transformation of the International Baha'i Council, which he appointed them, into an international Baha'i court. That's what he says. Now, there's the 10 years plan. Mr. Nakhjawani, the former member of Universal Laws of Justice, trying to protect the faith or whatever, he just says the same thing, but this is how he words it. 9. Establishment of Baha'i court in the Holy Land as a preliminary to the emergence of the Universal Laws of Justice. That's not true. He does not say a Baha'i court in Holy Land. He says an international Baha'i court. We don't know where that is possible to do. I believe whichever country that becomes Baha'i first, I hope it's Israel first, but I know it's going to be Canada, automatically that is the country where the National Baha'i Court and International Baha'i Court can be formulated. Then you will see in your surprise that Universal Laws of Justice will move to that country. It's up to the people. How do they want to treat this? Nothing is written on the stone that Holy Land is Holy Land. It was supposed to be Iran. Then it changed to Baghdad. It was supposed to be there. Baha'u'llah in his poetry, he cries when he leaves Baghdad, you know. But it ended up becoming Holy Land. Holy Land can change too, if people, they don't move. So why does Mr. Nakhjawani, in explaining the 10 years plan, change the wording of Shogi Effendi to make it to look something else? I don't know. He wants to protect the faith, maybe? So, I think we have to very much be clear on this. It is something has happened. We're all into it. Don't take it as God failing. Take it as an opportunity, a privilege given to us to test our ability to see how we can rightfully assemble the will of God into what He wants for ourselves. You see? Not that they start blaming him, you know, this guy's at fault, that guy's at fault, this is covenant breaker. That, stay away from this title giving, name giving. If you want to be following Baha'u'llah, of course, you know, you're free, we can do whatever you want to do. Today my friend said, okay, so you're giving your opinion to them as this is what is right in the writing. People in the Universal Laws of Justice, or a number of other scholars, they don't agree with you. They think you're wrong. And they're entitled to. So why don't you leave them alone? He was telling me that, just accept what they say. And my answer was to him is that I'm not so much here forcing anybody to accept something. I'm just trying on behalf of Baha'u'llah to say that this is not Baha'u'llah's writing and the Baha'i faith writing. This is a misrepresentation, is a misreading of the truth. I told him God is the defender. The most precious things that God, for sure, personally know, wants to do, I know, is that He's the defender of the free will. He does not want people to interfere in each other's will. He does not want us to manipulate each other, making us to do something else. He is out there to see whatever I do and I say, that's pure. That is my decision. I'm not paid to do that. I'm not manipulated to do that. I'm not a Baha'i because of this, because of that, because of that, because of that. Somebody else did not occupy my soul. This is very important for Baha'u'llah. He does not want to do that. And he doesn't accept pure. It's not like religion of the past, that, you know, you bring fight and rules and push people into the Baha'i faith. Baha'u'llah says, I don't accept it. Only pure virtues, purity, pure resist. I would not accept it. Because the willpower has to be involved. If the willpower, pure willpower, is not involved in what we want to do, we do not deserve this planet, we do not deserve Baha'i faith, and we will not create a system. So if I let go of these things, and I don't look at it as very important, and talk about spiritual matters and this and that, according to my friend, and let Universal and those who like these things to go on, the implication of that is very, 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 very bad. He was saying that, well, compared to the rest of the organization in the world, Baha'is and Universal Officers is the most civilized. I said that I don't see it that way. It's like the people, fundamentalists, even ISIS lovers in Canada, they speak in a very nice, light manners. Only because they're small, because they're a minority. But if they become power, without even them knowing it, automatically it will turn into a big beast. How would universal laws of justice become like that? Well, look at my case. What have I ever said? That I'm called a covenant breaker, the enemy of Baha'u'llah. And I'm not blaming people. I'm saying the system is corrupted. These people in the universal laws of justice and machinery, they are driving a broken car. I am here on behalf of Baha'u'llah to fix the system. I'm not blaming anybody. I don't know why people are the way they are. God knows and they know themselves. So, but what happened to me, if this system continues to become powerful, imagine what will happen to the world. We will have such a dictatorship of ignorance that's unprecedented. Our planet will be destroyed by these assemblies, by these universal laws of justice, by others, if it is assembled in a wrong way. But if it is assembled properly, none of these things will happen. So, what do we do then? We had two situations. When we had the International Baha'i Council at 1953, Shoghi Effendi put 8 people there, some of them were women. They were not infallible. So these questions today, if we had them, would not exist. Mr. David Rossetti, a very prominent Baha'i, a serious gentleman, he was saying that, when I'm alone by myself, I'm saying to myself, how could 9 people sit there and become infallible? How? Just by election. I had to explain, but he said, this is a problem. I might be able to handle it, he said, but many people, they just can't get it. How? Because we're not ready for this, you see, to understand this concept. It's a huge concept. How would you do this? How you create infallibility out of the fallible beings? It's not very difficult to understand. When Baha assembles 9 people within his plan, yes, he creates right himself there. He can. Us we do. We take pieces, put it together and become a camera. Baha'u'llah can put 9 people together. The way he said they have to be put together, they totally becomes a transmitter, just like television, that will bring the spirit of Baha'u'llah in that groups. Not any 9, that 9, the way it has been told. In the fullness of time, what Shoghi Effendi says, not right now. So, yes, if you had International Baha'i Council, we didn't have this problem. Why women are not there? Because women would have been there. Infallibility is not a problem. But then, with the international institution of with the Baha'i International Council, who knows how many covenant breakers would come and break down the Baha'is in the world? What if a couple of national spiritual assemblies in the world they rise against the universal? Then what do we do? Therefore, we need universal laws of justice as an infallible power to come in when the defense of the faith is necessary. So, we're going to have to, in my opinion, combine things. What we will do, this is my logical projection of the situation, seeing that we need both. We need the Baha'i, the non-Baha'is to come in the Baha'i faith. We need women at the international level. Then, this infallible is a big question for a lot of people. They don't understand. On the other hand, we need serious protection of the faith, or individuals will come arise and they are breaking the faith. So what do? Let's combine the two. How about this? We should have definitely 5 women, possibly right now, appointed even by the elders, such as myself, to serve as a preliminary stage for the future universal laws of guardianship. And maybe in a few years, just like Hands of the Cause they did, they'll have 5 women to get elected to be the universal house of guardianship, just as international level. We don't want to bring them in the local and national level. We don't need it right now. These 2 houses are legitimately have to be together, because Shogh Effendi says one without the other cannot work. In this way, now we do seriously have interpreters, elected women, that they can interpret, as I said in the writing, in the building called Dar al-Wilayah, and work with universal laws of justice. But I'm suggesting, because we have not reached to that, let's have a joint session of both of them. 14 people in. Just like there were 8 in the International Baha'i Council. Not an odd number, but even number. Let's make it 14. It's a joint session. In this case, we kind of have International Baha'i Council. But we do have universal laws of justice. We do have universal laws of guardianship. But they're joint. They're working in a joint session. Interpretation takes place among everybody. And, also voting comes right at hand. Okay, when it's necessary. Now, there comes a time while we're progressing towards fulfilling the will of Shogh Effendi, which was that 10 years crusade. He wants in it 7 national Baha'i court in 7 Muslim countries. My God, how are we going to bring Sharia law in Iran, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Turkey? Show me where. None of them will accept it. That the Baha'i laws to be executed at any level. They won't. So we have to get there, whenever we get there. But in between comes a time that some National Assembly somewhere, some individual somewhere, who wants to go beyond his or theirs, limit. Well, then the 2 houses get separated. Universal laws of justice there, universal laws of guardianship there, and they come up as an infallible, complementing each other, and they bring an infallible decisions for the Baha'is, protecting them. But not right now. We're not facing any enemies. We're too dismal in our number. Okay? This is my serious decision as an elder. I'm advising you to this. And I'm asking you, if honestly you love Baha'u'llah, you have to do this. At least think about it properly. Then you have to contact me. I'm suggesting at least a couple of hundred of the serious Baha'i scholars. They come together on this. If you want to test me to see if I'm an elder of God, go ahead. I will show you belief beyond your understanding. That my knowledge is connected to the internet of Baha'u'llah. Anything to ask. If I couldn't come up with an answer, then deny it. Let me bring one of the books here. This book is called Samawat al-Suluk, which is an explanation of the 4 valleys, written by Mr. Fariduddin Radmeher. The book is, let's see, how many pages? 826 pages. The gentleman has written these books to explain the four valleys, all in Persians. This Fariduddin Radmer, I'm talking about him because I like him. I actually have learned few things from him. When he explains some of the writing of the Bab, I have seen that he's coming up with few things that has helped me. But he's nowhere close even to what I know. Okay? But be honest with yourself. 800 pages of the Persian book to explain 10-page four valleys of Baha'u'llah, and you're expecting people to read this? Don't you see halfway in the book they forget even what you said previously? And I've read your book. You will be sitting on the day of reckoning, Farid, when Baha'u'llah is in there. I'm sitting beside him, and I'm telling you that day of reckoning has come for you tonight. I read your book. You know what I found with it? I know it is hard, but to be honest with yourself, see if my view of it is what might be true. Change your seat in my place. You are like a person, like a chef, with 200 ingredients on the table, but he can't cook even one omelette. That's what it is, an analogy, okay? You are like a person when you're asked, what is the cell phone? What is this fridge? What is a car? And you take your gadget and you disassemble the entire pieces of the phone on the table and tell me this is the phone. And none of it was the questions that was asked. You're analyzing things, but you're not connecting the dots. And then putting the mind of your reader, which we don't have much, to remember, to read the ideas of Plato, this guy, that guy, is totally out of the use. I don't know, can we teach this book in university? The entire book is a waste of paper, Farid. I'm telling you. You have spoken about nafs, which means the desire. Elaborately. But finally, as I told you, you're not connecting the dot. What is your definition of nafs by Abdul-baha in the book Some Answered Questions? That nafs, which is desire, as he says, is one of the 5 senses of the spiritual realm, where we desire things. And he says that is a connecting line. How much contemplation is required to understand. A line between spirit and the body, between this world and the next realm. It's something that's shared. It's a twilight, this desire. You have never mentioned that in your book. Because you're reading too much. Things that are not necessary. I hesitate to increase my vocabulary in English because then I would talk things that people don't know what these words are. I try to content myself to smaller words. So I can talk to people to use it. Your life right now with all these books, I certify you as one of the most knowledgeable person in the faith of God, and also the most irrelevant one. You know how much more could you say and could you do? Did you spend 800 pages to explain the 4 valleys, and you failed to do it anyways? Your explanation is so much. But you know, Farid, everybody else is like that. It's the domino effect. when at the highest level me and you, we people, we end up assembling the Faith of Baha'u'llah into the existing universal laws of justice, and we're trying to push ourselves that this is what you wanted, and we know it's not right. None of you have the guts to come back and you know it. And I know you know it. This I'm addressing you. I swear to Baha'u'llah, I know you know what's wrong. What keeps you not responding then? What are you thinking about? What is more important than the will of Baha'u'llah as we know it? If we don't do this, what else do we do? I'm ordering you right now, okay? Using my official status, sir. If you don't follow, I personally will punish you, okay? Because you know, ليس للإنسان إلا ما سعى. You are responsible. You have to contact me, and if you know others, a bunch of you, I've read you, all of you what you're saying. It is nothing but a mixing of the Baha'i faith with this poisonous, convoluted, never understood philosophy of the West, and that way you want to be scientific, not even knowing what you're doing. You are not into that as much, but you know others are. You personally, okay? You're responsible. You know. And if you want to know yourself more familiarized, go to the 5elders.com, look at those 9 masnavis that I have revealed it by behest of Baha'u'llah when I was 18, and the last one when I was about 35. Masnavi Tawheed, the Masnavi of Ishq, the Masnavi of Tahirah, the Masnavi of Takwin, the Masnavi of Kalimatullah, the 5 Masnavi, and then the 4 Masnavi after that, which is about these 4 valleys, by the way. You're going to have to listen to those things to see what is the real knowledge, the stuff that's not borrowed or not regurgitated from the past, okay? You guys have to come together, contact me. I will not reveal your name. We have to get together and write a letter very respectfully to the universal laws of justice, or what we call it universal laws of justice, and bring the situation. Let's put things in the control. We can, we have to, okay? And because it is a situation that we do not want to introduce another individual, I totally disagree with it. We already have so many individuals, you know, we never heard anything, never learned the reality and the magnifying, under magnifying glass, who Shoghi Effendi was and who is Baha'u'llah, who is Abdul-baha. So I would be on the back. I will never come in public to give speeches or talk to the Baha'is. I won't. That I don't do. Baha'i faith does not need this kind of figures. I am no entertainer. When I talk to people, they will have to have a pen and a pencil and write down what I said, and I will ask them back. If they don't answer, I'll throw them out of the class. So I have to do this. Is the only way that it is possible to do. Even the member of Universal Laws of Justice, if one of them they hear this, this is our faith. This is the gift of God to us. It's not for himself. And we are representing him with at least the knowledge of which the world should be saved. from so much of possible chaos that is chasing it right now. And this is the responsibility we have to have. I will then speak to you how the Baha'i faith have to be taken as a spiritual means to spiritualize the world. This is not a social order. It should not be spread and taught as another philosophy, another scientific, things. Furthermore, we have to also understand Baha'i faith permanently separates religion from government. Universal laws of justice is not the international government of the world. National House of Justice, local House of Justice is not the local government. It's not. There's Baha'i government and there's even international court, not Baha'i court, where Baha'u'llah says all the countries they can release their disputes. In a given country, when a majority of the people are becoming Baha'is, only the best I can give, only 10% of them, they might want to associate with the Baha'i laws and Kitab al-Aqdas and follow the Baha'i court. It's a privilege God has given for them. But even among the Baha'is, 90% of them, they want to be secular. That's where the Baha'i government comes. Baha'i government is simply made by the Baha'i participant, where non-Baha'is are equally sharing it. A president that might be elected by the people, including Baha'is, but he could be a Muslim, he could be a Christian, he could be of no religion. The Baha'i government, where there's a king, where there's democracy, where there's republics, all kind of ways. It could be a socialist country. Still there's a Baha'is there electing them. But Baha'is, they vote for the international government, for the national government, for the local government separately from their vote for the local House of Justice, National House of Justice, and Universal House of Justice. This is where the Sharia law works. The rule of Baha'u'llah works with the assemblies if they want to defer to it. If they don't, that's fine. We're not expecting, God does not expect more than 10% of the people willingly they want to have the Baha'i laws to be ruled over their lives. 90% of them are also Baha'is, but they don't want to be that much Baha'i. But if we think that way, one day we're creating Universal House of Justice, local House of Justice, National House of Justice to rule and push the people of the world to follow their way, that is not the situation at all. There are laws in Kitab al-Aqdas that Baha'i government will adapt. It's beyond the matter of the family and whatnot. For example, inheritance in the Baha'i faith, it's only if you have a Baha'i will, it will go to the Baha'i court. If you don't have a Baha'i will, because you never wanted to have a Baha'i will, or you said in your will, I want to go to the secular court, well then will not be handled by the Baha'i faith and the Baha'i House of Justice. There's a force. It's entirely a freedom. This is separate. The Elder of God, George Washington, has separated religion from politics. Politics will still exist in the future of the Baha'i faith, not in this form. There's no party system among the Baha'is, but there are definitely good people and bad people and whatnot. Sometimes people vote for a very staunch Baha'i to be the president. Other times they might elect a Christian to be the president of the country. So in such country, there is Sharia law for the Muslims, for the Christians, for the Buddhists, for any number of religion that they want to be, including for the Baha'is. But it's not mandatory to be used. It's separated. Because if you make the national or universal to become the government to handle the traffic lights and the tax system, then we are facing like Iran. If a spiritual government, if the religion becomes government, it's the worst type. Nothing as bad as that for mankind. Because you cannot use the spiritual mission into a social one. It will become stiff and hard, very, very hard, This has to be understood. Okay, I talked about it. I don't need to talk later on. Okay, I think I'm done. Now, I might have to explain the last part of this is that why do I think I'm an elder of God? I've brought this before, what I am, but I might have to reintroduce myself because people like Farid would want to know why. Well, for Farid it's easy. If you look at those 9 Masnavi that I've written in Persian, I believe immediately overnight he knows that's who I am, if he doesn't know already. But we have to overcome the fear. There's no fear. Fear the regrets that you will have when you die. The opportunity that I gave you tonight, and you missed it. Take these goddamn things very serious, boy. Very serious. Okay? Very well, Allah, I think I'm done with this topic. What I think should be done and how to execute it. But again, entirely up to you. I think the part that Baha'u'llah is concerned, I'm his envoy, we explain what it is. There's no more force than this Baha'u'llah wants to apply. Because if you don't come in, he doesn't want you. That's it. Allah Akbar.